悪魔城Dracula, also known as Vampire Killer, was released for the MSX2 in Japan on October 30th, 1986, and Europe in 1987, making this the first European Castlevania title. It was released into PC via Project Egg on July 22nd, 2014, and on the Wii U Virtual Console in December 17, 2014. This was a Japanese eShop exclusive. The game was developed and published by Konami. Both the NES Castlevania and Vampire Killer were in development at the same time, but the NES Castlevania came out first and then Vampire Killer roughly a month later. Vampire Killer is an alternative version to the NES Castlevania, but I will judge the game based on its own merits while mentioning Castlevania and other future titles in this review. Vampire Killer's cartridge can detect whether it's on a European or Japanese MSX2 via its BIOS. It supports two different types of controls, a keyboard and the joypad. I stuck with the joypad because it's much easier than the keyboard. The Project A player supports USB controls, so you can plug one in and map them onto however you like. This leads to my first issue, the stiff controls. Simon Belmont moves slower in Vampire Killer and the jumps are jankier. What I mean is, when you jump from a certain height and land on a moving platform, Simon will fall through. In this game, you really cannot afford to lose lives in such a stupid way. The MSX2 has a limitation, most notably the lack of horizontal and vertical scrolling, so the developers adapted to the change and made it into a labyrinth-like platformer. Vampire Killer has 18 levels, while taking on a boss every 3rd level, and every 4th level you will lose everything except for your hearts and map. The overall goal is to beat Count Dracula, and to progress in the game you need to find a white key. The usual area of where you find said keys are located inside a wall or out in the open. A great thing about this game is that it doesn't have a time limit, possibly due to limitations, or that the developers expect the players to get lost. The solution to this is to find a map. It'll show you the level's layout, your position, and where you need to go to the next level. You can only use a map a few times before it disappears. In your journey, you will find 4 other main weapons: the upgraded Morningstar or Battle Chain, Battle Axe, Broadsword or Dagger, and Battle Star or Crucifix. Each weapon varies in damage, with the Battle Axe being the highest, while the Dagger being the lowest. Even though the Dagger gets a lot of flack for being the worst weapon in the game, it is surprisingly useful when you're trying to fight bosses or distant enemies. While the Battle Axe, the Dagger, and the Crucifix are sub-weapons in other Castlevania games, these are main weapons that will replace the current weapon in your possession, so make sure you plan accordingly. The Morningstar gets a longer reach, a faster hit rate, and does almost double the damage than your Vampire Killer whip. The Battle Axe and Crucifix are treated as boomerangs. In order to use them again, you need to catch them. If you miss them, you will lose them, and you'll have to use your Vampire Killer whip again. Vampire Killer only has 2 sub-weapons, the Holy Water and the Hourglass. The Hourglass is surprisingly useful, but I really can't say much about the Holy Water, it is garbage. In any other Castlevania game, you will have to press up, then attack. Instead, in this game, you have to jump, then press left or right to use the Holy Water, then, to use the Hourglass, you need to press jump, then down. Why not just map it to any other key in the keyboard? Do you see the issue here? Button combinations. When you're in the middle of battle or you're trying to jump from platform to platform, you might inadvertently trigger your sub-weapon, thus reducing the hearts that you might need to purchase from the merchant. You cannot use these sub-weapons while you're climbing up and down the stairs. Other than sub-weapons, you have a number of inventory items that will help you out along the way. Whatever you do, make sure that you prioritize the following items: the blue crystal, the sapphire ring, the boots, and shield 1. Almost all items can be found in candles, lock chests, or bought from a merchant called the Old Crone. I'm not kidding, that's what the game calls her in the manual. To interact with the Old Crone, you actually need to hit her. Hit her a few times or once until she turns red. That way she wakes up. White and blue does nothing, while orange increases or decreases the hearts randomly. You can hit her a few more times to kill her and gain points. Whatever you do, do not use the golden cross while she's in the room. It'll kill all enemies including her. Okay, that's actually pretty funny. To purchase items from the old crone, you need to save up hearts, which is their second purpose in the game. You can increase or decrease prices whenever you collect the Bible Black or the White Bible respectively. This marks the first appearance of the Bible. In later games, the Bible is used as a sub-weapon. You can heal yourself by collecting a small red crystal, buying a potion from the merchant, or collect a large red crystal after beating the boss. Vampire Killer's enemies and bosses are just like the NES counterparts. The spawning enemies will appear on the other side of the screen. When you reach halfway through, they will appear on the other side. The fishmen or mermen jump from the water and try to attack you. Skeletons are surprisingly durable in this game. Then you have the most annoying enemies in the game. The Black Crows, the Black Panthers, and those goddamn hunchbacks. The Skeleton Dragon, the axe and spear armors are the most durable in the game. As for the blood skeletons, they move and regenerate faster than the NES counterparts. This is bad. Last but not least, there is a new enemy in Vampire Killer called the Slime. When you break open a candle or a wall, there's a possibility that they may appear. Their first appearance is from stage 4 on. With the exception of Frankenstein's monster and Dracula, all bosses are easy to beat. All you have to do is equip the battle axe, the battle chain, or crucifix. Then use an hourglass and spam attacks. As for Frankenstein's monster, stand in a corner and make sure you use the battle axe or crucifix to attack him. When it comes to fighting Dracula, make sure that you equip the hourglass and any other main weapon besides the Vampire Killer whip. You will have a long and tedious battle against him. Once you beat Count Dracula, the credits show and you start over again. The only difference is that your second run on will only get harder from there. No game is without its flaws, and Vampire Killer does have some, so allow me to point them out. This game is known to be notorious for its unforgiving difficulty and being one of the hardest classic Castlevania games to beat. The reason why it is considered a difficult Castlevania to beat is because of the stiff controls, the predetermined areas that can lead to inevitable damage, falling through platforms after jumping from a certain height. You only get 3 lives and you don't get any more, just 3. The score in this game is useless and only serves to have bragging rights. You don't get no continues, no password codes, no save progression, none of that stuff. 3 lives and you gotta start all over again. And to understand those who have actually experienced the game, yeah, it sucks. No pun intended. Now, in defense of this game, and call me crazy, but I actually like the labyrinth-like structure in this game, and the challenge it provides. As a matter of fact, the game isn't really that hard once you get used to the controls. There is no rush. You're not going to get a time bonus because there is no timer in the game. And I'm no stranger to games with stiff controls. If anything, that adds to the challenge of the game. As a longtime Castlevania fan, I'm actually happy to have finally played this game. Vampire Killer does not use cheat codes, but they use a special cartridge called the Game Master 1 and 2. Think of it as like the Game Shark for its time, but it's a cartridge they made to make their games easier for you. You can change the number of lives and choose whatever stage number you want. This applies to both the European and Japanese MSX consoles. To trigger this glitch, let the Skeleton Dragon hit you, then you could potentially phase through one of the blocks. Use that to your advantage in order to get on top of the ceiling and enter Frankenstein Monster's room. Now you can enter the boss room without a key. Shout out to Scrimpeg for finding this video. Their video is listed down below in the description. To trigger this glitch, beat the stage boss. Then wait until the stage clear plays and activate the hourglass at the last part. then collect the red crystal, and now you have triggered the infinite hourglass glitch until the rest of the game. Make sure you have the hourglass at stage 18, otherwise you will soft lock yourself in Dracula's room. You need to do this in order to deactivate the glitch and beat the game like normal. Vampire Killer is an okay Castlevania game, and one that I recommend. The developers did a good job adapting to the limitations and still deliver a solid Castlevania game. While some people may not think about this, Vampire Killer is an important entry into the franchise because it'll shape what future titles will become in terms of gameplay. Now, you don't have to worry about getting an MSX. You can actually buy the game from the Project Egg platform via PC, and it's cheap. With that being said, this concludes the review for Vampire Killer. I'm not going to announce the next game that I'm reviewing to avoid long gaps between uploads. I hope you guys have a great day, and if not, I hope it gets better for you guys. Alright, goodbye everyone.